Hello and welcome to another one of my videos. In this video you join me in 2017. I know it's a new year and this is the first video of 2017 and it's Mank, it's February and it's raining. It is miserable, and one thing this time of year most bikers get is the winter blues. But it's not the fact of we are lacking vitamin K because of the lack of sunlight. No, it's the lack of actually getting out and being able to ride our bikes. And yeah, you get very depressed. The reason I don't ride it because of the weather, to be honest. The reason why I don't ride my bikes in this weather is mainly because of the salt. Now, if any of you know me, you know how anal I am with cleaning my bike. So every time I would go out in this weather, I would have to spend 2 hours cleaning them. So I just can't be bothered with that kind of aspect of it. Hence why I don't do it now. I used to do it quite a lot, but just don't have the time. So how do I combat this? Well, you join me in my Skoda. I've actually got a Skoda Octavia VRS turbo diesel, and basically this is my toy for when I'm not out on the bike and I'm doing, my commute to work when it's raining or miserable. This is my fun toy to play with, and basically keeps us nice, dry, and yeah, not cold. And a lot of bikers actually do this. A lot of bikers actually have nice fast cars just to kind of give them that bit of kind of, that speed hit, that acceleration hit that you need when you don't have your bikes. But hopefully the weather will change soon. So why did I go for my Octavia? Well, first off, I like German or Japanese. That's just what I go for, even though Skoda isn't technically German. It's Czech, I think. It's actually part of the VW group, so underneath this there's an Audi A3 basically. That's what the running gear is of this. I could have gone for the petrol version as well. They do a TSI petrol, which is a 2 litre with 220 brake horsepower. However, it only does around about 30 miles per gallon if you're good. Whereas this one can get up to 50 miles per gallon, 55 miles per gallon on the motorway. However, to back up, to bring it more into the realms of the petrol version of the VFR, or the VRS, I should say, I've had it chipped. I mean remapped. And the reason why I've had it remapped is to actually bring it more into the realms of the power delivery of the petrol version of the Skoda. And this is a great opportunity here to demonstrate how quick this car actually is once we get to the overtaking line. So with the actual remap, this car will be making around about 210, 220 horsepower from the standard 175, I think it's 175. However, the biggest thing is the torque. Stock, it's got around about 380, I think. When it's been remapped, it's got 450 newton meters of torque. That's just, you'll never get that much torque out of a petrol engine of the same size. Well, within the realms of this budget. So I've basically got the performance of the petrol version with the fuel and the fuel economy of the diesel. It'll actually get more fuel economy now I've had it remapped. It'll be getting like when we actually went back from the remappers, I think it actually did 59 miles per gallon, which was around about 7 miles per gallon up than what I would normally get on the same run, which we did do regularly. So yeah, so this is my little fun toy to have when I don't have my bikes. It's big, it's comfortable, it's roomy, it's quite sophisticated as well, because as you all know, the job I've got, hydraulic design engineer anyway, I have to go around a lot of clients and fabricators and things like that. And the car I had before this was actually that we went through quite a few Micras just because how cheap they were, and they were a good little car. The only problem was they rusted like hell. I owned one for 3 years, I think 4 years, and it was great until the 4th year. A big hole came in the sill because of the rust. They just didn't put up with rust that well. So we got the Honda Jazz for the wife, Nikki, and when we actually came to changing the Micras, I actually went for a Suzuki Swift Sport first. had that for a year. However, that was just drinking fuel. That did 33 miles per gallon constantly, and it was a 1.6 petrol and small. I actually don't really remember that car too well, even though I had it for a year. And then it got to the point where I paid 600 quid on it because the spring went and the brake discs were bloody 40-50 quid per corner. So that went the journey after I paid 600 quid to get the MOT done. And that's where this came in. Started looking around thinking I want something that's decent, more executive, and has got a bit of go. Diesel VRS. The only problem which we have now is, well, it isn't much of a problem, but as you all know, if you keep up with the automotive world, there's a thing happening called a Dieselgate, yes, where VW were found out to be cheating the emission standards. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand why. The emission standards nowadays are far too strict. I mean, it's just outrageous what these EU bloody directives want the cars to actually produce. If they had their own way, there'd be daisies and bloody bunnies coming out the exhaust. Never gonna happen in a combustion engine, no matter what you do. And I don't think they realise this, and basically they've constrained them that much that they've decided to get around it, we'll cheat. So when it's in a test environment, the car will recognise it. Now, I actually didn't know this when I bought this car, but this is one of the cars which has got the cheat software on. I got a letter through the door saying I wanted remapped. However, the problem is, after reading it, even though they send a letter through the door saying yes, we're going to lower your NOx levels, we're going to lower all the emissions without any performance negatives whatsoever, you'll still have the same torque and everything. Bullshit. Sorry for the French, but it is bullshit. If you're changing things like that to lower the emissions down, you're going to be affecting the performance, and people are finding this out, along with EGR valves failing, which VW was sitting there going, no, that's a common thing, you know, that's just wear and tear the car. Some people, the EGR valves are less than 6 years old and they're going after they've had the remap because they're working more. The particulate filter in the exhaust is actually regenerating more, and the engines are just sounding a lot rougher than they used to be. But that's, if you're going to change the map of a car to make it more, what shall we say, eco-friendly, you are going to affect the performance. The other thing with it as well is they're getting less miles per the gallon. Now, because we're in the UK, well, I'm in the UK, VW don't want to reimburse us for such as loss, because obviously these cars are now depreciating a lot faster now because of Dieselgate, and people are just kind of feeling a bit sore about VW, and they don't want to kind of pay the money for these cars, which, to be honest, the future, once you've had the remap, is unknown. Now, the engine's going to last as long, da-da-da-da. So instead, over in America, people are getting paid off. We'll buy your car back, here's some money. However, in the UK, because they're saying their remap won't affect performance, just by the way, the remap in America will affect their performance. Don't ask me why there's any difference, but anyway. Because the remap we're having won't affect performance, it's going to actually... basically, they don't have to give us any money because it's not going to make any difference to our lives. Now, they've actually just been taken to court, and hopefully anybody who owns a VW diesel will be getting some money back to actually compensate for, one, the loss of value to their car, and also anyone who's had the fix, no doubt, any money that is required to actually fix the car, any money that's actually been lost. But, aye. Other than that, though, the car is bloody phenomenal. Like I say, I would not go back to a petrol after, I don't know if the government are starting to get an anti-diesel because of all the NOx emissions, but yeah, driving a diesel car is just totally different to the petrol. You don't have to rev it, the torque's there, and now that I've had it remapped, the torque is just outstanding. It is phenomenal. But I think with that, I'm going to pull up down here, I'm going to have a few minutes sit, and yeah, hopefully you enjoy this video. There's going to be loads more videos coming up. My CX is going to be coming up in a video. It's had a bit of a spruce up in one area, a very big spruce up. Actually bruised my leg quite heavily sprucing it up in that area. But that'll be coming up soon, hopefully in the next few weeks. And once I've done that, we should be all okay. So anyway, keep watching this channel for more videos. As always, keep safe, ride safe if you are out and about in this very lovely weather. And I shall see you soon.